Welcome to Film School Friday. I'm Corey.
I'm Bill.
And together,
we form the greatest podcast you've ever heard in your life.
Those are big shoes to fill. Also known as the In Focus Podcast.
Yes.
Film School Friday is our special weekly episode where I get to quiz Bill to see how much knowledge he's retained from film school. And so far, it's been quite a lot.
That's great. They my money's worth went into it, I guess.
I guess so. Speaking of film school and film projects, we are working on pre-production right now for an upcoming short, Dark and Bliss.
Yes.
I know you're very excited about. That is your project, by the way. But part of that project is we're going to have to find some talent.
That's right.
And I'm curious, how do you do that? Like, how do you go about casting? How do you go about finding the right talent? What's the best approach there?
So there are a few different avenues to approach with casting. You know, when I was first starting out, it was kind of the run and gun indie way, which I've talked about it in my episode. When I was growing up, I cast my friends and my family and stuff, and which was basically, hi, you're going to be in this. They didn't have a choice. When you get into the indie world, when I first started, it was, which actors do I know that I've met at a mixer or, you know,
some other event,
some other event. Yeah. And, or seen on social media or whatever it might be. And that's an approach you can take. If there's an actor you have a great relationship with already, someone you've worked with on set, someone you've met in kind of a mixer situation, cast them, you know, if you think they'll be right for the part, do it. But you know, traditionally the big thing to do is hold auditions. And that's something you can do independently. You can do a casting call. You can announce that on social media. Come here, read a few lines, et cetera, or you can hire a casting director. And as your budgets get a little bigger, you can afford a casting director.
Yeah.
And the casting director will handle those things, such as the casting call, corralling talent based on what it is the director has a vision for when it comes to the characters. You know, it does take the load off the director and the producer a little more to have somebody in that role where that's specifically what they're doing.
Presumably, a casting director would have relationships with maybe local talent agencies.
Absolutely.
Have, to throw back to a reference from Ade, a Rolodex of...
Yes, a Rolodex.
A Rolodex of maybe talent that they already would have in mind for a particular project. Definitely a ton of value add there.
Oh, yeah. And I've worked... I've not hired a casting director yet, but I've worked kind of off and on with a few in town and just kind of thrown out ideas for characters I'm looking for, and the quickness of casting directors to shoot you headshots and resumes. I mean, immediately in my email, like within an hour, you know, some of these folks, because you're right. They have those relationships with agencies and a lot of talent around town, and their job is to be kind of like keen on what a director's looking for and zero in on that. But again, like, auditions are a big part of that. There are some directors that are like, I think this person looks great on paper. We don't have time to do auditions. Hire them. That happens a lot, especially when things are faster paced in the commercial or music video world. Maybe it's not even a speaking part, so the stakes aren't as high.
Yep.
The stakes are a little higher if there's some speaking parts involved. If, you know, you've got a little more time to deal with. Auditions are great. Casting director or producer or whoever it might be gets talent together, and you have those folks come in and read for you. And that's great because you get to see them in person. You get to see how they interact. You get to see, you know, you get to direct them. It's kind of I don't want to say try it before you buy it because that sounds a little bit like the cattle call or whatever, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I think stuff like that's very valuable because that's something might look great on paper, but to actually see that person perform. Plus, you know, you have times where the headshot that you've been sent is 25 years old, and then that person surprises you when they show up on set.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I haven't had time to update that.
Yeah, I've just lost my hair and gained a lot of weight.
That's extreme.
Yeah.
So are you thinking we're going to have a casting director for your short?
I'd love to, because I think, that's an opportunity to work with a professional in that field that can give us the talent we're looking for.
Yeah. So if you're a casting director in the Nashville area,
hit us up.
Go ahead and @ Bill.
You can @ me in all the ways you can @ someone on social media.
Do all the things.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Great. Bill, as always, excellent job. Casting director, definitely something to look into. But as far as sourcing talent, auditions, work the network, work the social media, all those things.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. And then for our listeners, make sure you check us out on Instagram at InFocusPod or online at InFocusPodcast.com. And if you like what you heard today, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating. It would help us out a ton. And until next time, feed your crew.
Please do. But don't feed them pizza until the end of the shoot, because they'll fall asleep if you give it to them for lunch.
And grease on your camera.
That too.
Train wreck.